Talking brain, enlightened minds, seeking out truths, seeing the world with the mind of those who see beyond the three-dimensionally. So, talking brain, ask the right questions, uncovers the blinds.
Hey. Welcome everyone to Being Love TV's Souls Talking Brain Show. This is our final broadcast of the 2014 fall season. I am Roni Lipstein, and this is my double goddess,
Aline Ohanesian.
Welcome. Are you watching this? Oh my. I'm telling you, once you open Pandora's box, woo, the things that come out.
It does. Things do come out. Yes, it is the festive season here, December of 2014. And we are going to be ending off the 2014 year with this episode here, live, right now, and coming back in January. So,
and what is this episode that
and
we
this
are
episode that we
ending
are?
Our
What is it?
2014?
What do you say? What do you call it when it's like when the show is like the last? It's not the premiere, the
finale.
Finale. There you go.
Finale of the season. And what are we finaleing the season with?
We are finaleing the season with...
Dun, 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 dun.
Shh. We have a secret.
Confessions from your double goddess of Souls Talking Brain.
That's right.
So,
confessions of here, me and you and I. La 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 la.
La.
Wow, what does that mean, confessions? It's like, what are people thinking right now? Like, I could just imagine what people are thinking right now. Like, what
secrets.
confessions?
Whoa!
What confessions? What are we, it's I feel like I'm going to a confessional.
Well, it seems to be the day.
Uh-huh.
So, what secrets have we in store for you wonderful beings, whom, by the way, if I can take a moment right now before we get into our confessions, and thank each and every one of you, from myself and Aline, double goddess of Being Love TV and Souls Talking Brain Show, for being with us for the last 4 years, for joining us here live.
Wow, it's been 4 years, eh?
Yeah, except for our little break there. And for those of you who are watching and have watched the recordings of our show, again, thank you so very much for your support, for your love, and for being here with us, your co-creative collaboration in assisting and joining and uplifting and empowering and enlightening as many as we can to being love. And that's really what this is all about. The show, our lives, personally, professionally, and in any and every other way possible, have been dedicated and are continuing to be dedicated to being love. And to us, there is really nothing as important that we feel that we could be doing with our lives than doing as much as we can to assisting with this shift of consciousness that we're all currently journeying within. This is in my humble opinion, in the history books, will be written as the era of consciousness evolution. We had the Industrial Revolution, we had the technological age, and the here and the now.
The Ice Age, the Dark Age.
For us,
The
is
Aquarian Age.
the Aquarian Age, essentially the age of consciousness evolution. And so, from the depths of our hearts, souls, bodies, minds, beingness, all that makes us whole, we thank you so very, very much for being here with us. It's everything. So thank you, and infinite blessings and blessings to each and every one of you on your own personal journeys.
It's a good one. It's a good one. It's a good mouthful of gratitude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot.
Yeah.
So, back to the subject of the show today.
Dun, dun, dun.
We have a secret.
Uh-huh.
So, in speaking about that, which I was just saying regarding the fact that it is our personal dedication, not only here on the show, but in our personal and professional lives outside of the show as well, to do all that we can to be love. There tends to be what we have found amongst many who are our compatriots
Compatriot.
and cohorts, other light-weaving angels upon our earth school in this now, an assumption that those of us who are dedicated to being love are somehow expected to emanate and emulate the example thereof pretty much all the time. There's this, what I would say, erroneous perception that people like Deepak Chopra, for example,
Marianne Williamson. No?
Yeah,
I'm just
totally.
naming. We
Yeah.
want to put names. Let's put names.
Let's put names. Gary
Let's put them
Zukov.
on there. Eckhart Tolle.
Yes,
Right.
and all of these big names are somehow never privy to experiences of worry or stress, depressed levels of happiness, so on and so forth, and that we're maintaining a continuous, constant state of love's bliss, which, please don't get me wrong, that is the intention. However, the reality is our we've got a little secret.
Yes. Reality
you want me to say what the
reality
secret is?
Yes.
Reality is that we're not always being love. Reality is that...
Wait. It deserves to be said properly and clearly, because when you're revealing a secret, as are we have to say it and give it, we are not always, and these people, these gurus, these masters, these amazing, brilliant minds, including ourselves with our show and everything that we do, we're not always being in love. And
now that we are taking the moment to pause in this reality of truthfulness, on a more global perspective, on a more universal perspective, we are all always being loved, because we are all fulfilling whatever
the intention is
purposes. And even when you are being that which is perceived to be yucky and gross, there is a higher purpose which we may not be privy to that is actually fulfilling an opportunity for not only ourselves, but those who have to deal with us when we're being giving them the opportunity to rise above and to deal with their own triggers and emotional wounds and childhood traumas to rise above and to be able to be loved. So stating it, and yes, owning it, we are not always. On the other hand, we live in a sea of infinite potential, and we may in fact always be, but in our definition and that which we perceive to be being love, we're not necessarily always fulfilling the expectations of that which one would see as exemplary of being love.
Well, because it's mostly when we read books or go to see speakers of bigger names who write about being conscious, about doing the right thing. It's kind of like it's like it's even it exists even in religion. Okay, so that's a great example. It's not just people who are speaking about spirituality and consciousness and the existential or anything that is of the new and scientific or the quantum thinking on that level, but it's also through religious people and religious figures who are let's say the rabbi for a rabbi or a priest or Jesus, for that matter, just examples here, were always all teaching and being the example of something holy and good and sacred,
divine,
and
yes.
Exactly the right and moral, exactly, etc., etc., etc. But they're not themselves always
being the
example that they themselves are speaking to or teaching about, right? Jesus is the main example. He in what is written about him is that he was, as the performing miracles and being all love and everything. He himself was written in the Bible that he also did a lot of really terrible things as well. Terrible in our perception. And that's not necessarily very positive, but yet we still
revere.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And honor.
Yes, exactly.
But it is important. Mm-hmm. It's important for us that it be stated, established, and that we stand in complete and utter ownership of our ability to respond, or responsibility, to be conscious in every now, and the reality that we're not always conscious.
We're not always. It's
and sorry. Yes, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay. We're not always giddy and laughing and playful.
Sometimes we're mad and upset and not very nice.
Or I was going to say boring or...
I wouldn't say we're boring.
Well, no. Sometimes we can be like...
We may not necessarily be as, conscious at certain times and whatever, but there's never a dull moment. I can guarantee you that.
All right. Anyways... So we're never boring, but, we can get really, really peed off on occasion, lose sight of our heart connection, and get lost in what I would term the small mind, or lost in past wounds. And to make a statement about that, regarding... To maybe elucidate a little bit more explanation and understanding, even though a person may be wholly and fully dedicated in their complete beingness to doing the best that they can do, to be the best that they can be, the I in me they love themselves to be, we also have to take into consideration the fact that we are living in this world. Yeah. And we are all affected, whether consciously or not, by things that are going on in this world. And unless you've put yourself into a complete isolated bubble, and even then, are we still... Yes, I know, right? Oh my goodness! Okay, even then, we are like radio stations, essentially, that are picking up on the infinite stimuli of the universe. And the stimuli is information. Consciousness is information. So we are always receiving information, and it's not necessarily just what's happening within your own environment, physical environment. Information, consciousness, energy can go through the walls. Right? You can be receiving stimulation that is coming from across the world. You can be receiving stimulation that's coming from the planets light years away from us. And be unconscious there too. And as long as we are living in a world where there are things like wars and poverty and starvation and inequality and injustices, X, Y, Z, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3 of negativity, we, as the radio stations we are susceptible to receiving this information and misperceiving it to be our own.
Right. Well, that's just in general. That's just life, people in
But
general.
that's what my point is that even when you're dedicated to being loved, unless you somehow have found a way to be somebody or something that is not of this infinite existence,
okay,
you are going to be affected by it.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
So,
yes.
And so even those, like Deepak Chopra, for example, did that movie with his son. And you can see in the movie where he's getting like freaked out. You can see in the movie where he's having moments of major like stress or worry and stuff like that. But this is Deepak freaking Chopra here.
Well, it's
freaking out. Right? Like he's the man who's written all these books, but he's a man. He's a human being. He is an entity of this existence, of consciousness. So, you know, affected by, even though we do our best to be conscious, you're still receiving these stimulations. I guess I'm like owning it, but I'm also giving a reason why.
It's one of the things that really, there was many, obviously there's a big inspiration for us to be doing the show today with respect to what it is and what it's about, and the topic being, you know, confessions from the double goddess of souls, talking rain. The show you're watching right now.
Just in case you
just
forgot.
Is that we get a lot of people that know us very well, family members, friends, or people, you know, who have this sort of expectation of us because of what we do with the work that we do, with the show that we do. And in this particular moment right now, it's the show that we are doing, which is all about being conscious and being love, right? And then right away there's all this expectation that we are put on this pedestal of perfection and like godly figures that, you know, if we are seen, or even if we are even doing or saying something, or even caught at a moment that we are not what they would expect us to react based upon what they've seen on the show and what we say and what we talk about all the time, and then also with our work, is that right away it's pointed at us and it's like, oh, you all about love, da-da-da, look at you, da-da. Well, I'm not putting that expectation on myself. Just, you know, when
I am.
That's a whole different story. But in reality, who is perfect in this world? You know, to be able to...
Zion actually said...
To be objective about... Well, it's the same thing we do.
Zion said that he doesn't think anybody expects us to be perfect. And I was like, well...
Well, no, there's other people who do. Like, whether they do or not, it's the moment they respond or how they feel in a moment when they caught us.
It's unexpected.
Doing or being or saying something that necessarily was not very conscious. So then it's the immediate that, right? Which at the end of the day, it doesn't take away what I've said, what I do, our messages and our intentions and our suggestions and our wisdom. It doesn't take any of that away.
In fact, the reality of the situation is that all of the suggestions, the messages, and the intentions are that which we ourselves are following. That's what we ourselves are employing. That's what we ourselves are utilizing every single day. Every single day. And
why do we do? Why don't we tell them why it is that we do what we do, and who mostly, like what we were talking about with respect to we do what it is that we do because we ourselves take from everything that we say and bring it back to ourselves as well.
Well, what we're doing basically is sharing. It was actually amazing. The other day I happened upon an Eckhart Tolle video. Wow. I did. It wasn't like I wasn't looking for it.
You didn't go like
No.
Okay. It just fell on your lap.
And he's speaking into the video about saying, you know, for somebody who is a teacher like you and I are, you should never be teaching that which you yourself don't know.
Uh-huh.
And so if somebody comes to a realization, the example that he was giving to elucidate this wisdom is somebody might read a book, and they might be like, wow, that's I'm so inspired, what an amazing thing, but they themselves have never put it into practice. So they haven't the experience. And the person was asking, I've had this amazing realization, and I want to share it with everybody now. I want to teach it. And he said, it's wonderful that you want to share it, and it's one thing to share, this is my experience, but to teach means that you yourself have dedicated yourself to actualizing what it is that you have learned. In other words, the difference between knowledge and wisdom is the experience. So we sit here before you for the last 4 years, and for the last 20 years consciously of my own personal life dedicated to providing for others, and of my entirety of my life doing what I can to be the best that I can be, as Aline has herself. We have put into practice, which doesn't mean that we're always doing, it doesn't mean that our practice is perfect, but we are putting into practice everything that we speak to here on the show with all of you. And we are doing our best to employ these resources, tools, tips, tricks, mindfulness practices in our own lives. And sharing with everyone else, which is basically what Eckhart was saying, is that the teacher themselves is doing that which they are teaching.
Well, of course.
And that's when it's appropriate to be sharing, as opposed to, I read this really good book and I had this great dawning of information. Well,
it comes from experience, right? It is when you're speaking not because you are not living or experiencing or feeling, or you're yourself. You can't teach something when you yourself don't have the knowledge or the experience.
Well, and I would go a step further
because
than
then that's kind of like not really.
But I would even take it a step further. Like what Eckhart was saying is that the knowledge in and of itself is not enough. Right? Knowledge without experience is just knowledge. You can open up a book and read it. Knowledge plus experience is wisdom. And when you have the wisdom, then
you're able to teach and share and
exactly
and enlighten, and even hope, because that's the point, is that it makes a difference
in someone
else's life. Yeah, because that is what all this is really about, right? Is it makes a difference in someone else's life, whether it's one person, 10 people, 1,000, 100. Whatever, I mean, like
8 billion would be great.
8 billion would be ideal.
Yes.
But even if it's one person that is being positively affected by something that you are sharing, which is why we do what we do, which is why we have our show on Being Love TV, is because we really do believe that in order for not just ourselves to be happy, and for us to be able to change things in the world for the better, and to make the world a much more peaceful and enjoyable and happier place, then everybody plays a part in ensuring that we do something about that to get to that. Because if you don't and you just wish it, then it's not happening. So
I think we're going to take a little 2-second break. And when we come back, Aline and I can share with you a few more confessions of our own personal experiences and how we have used mindfulness and being conscious of our ability to respond, to assist ourselves, get out of whatever yuckiness we've gotten ourselves into and not being conscious. We'll be right back. Radiating love.
Radiating Love with Roni and Aline. What was
That's
that all
me.
about? Yes. So, I'm not sure if any one of you who is watching, our viewers, if you know or if you're aware that Being Love TV has two live broadcast shows that we do. One is, you're watching it right now,
Soul's Talking Brain.
And the second one is Radiating Love with Roni Lipstein. Roni Lipstein being right here, right next to me. And we are happy to announce that we are going to be coming back, premiering actually Radiating Love with Roni Lipstein show in the beginning of 2015. So we're
That's good.
Yeah, that's good.
2015. Stay tuned, and we will let you all know
2015
when Radiating Love will be coming back. We are excited and can share with you that the first show will probably be just, me introducing, reintroducing, coming back.
The whole show is you.
But moving forward, we're going to be introducing a new element to the show, which we've done on past Radiating Love shows, but for moving forward, we're looking to do it a little bit more
interactive.
Yes, but we've done the interactivity before, and I've had people call in before, but not call in, write in.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're looking to do is have call in interactions for the Radiating Love show in the new year, where we will have up to 3 callers who will be calling in with specific things that they are looking to receive guidance on, and they will receive free guidance on the show, which obviously we all have similar issues, or even if the issues are very different, the guidance seems to touch upon many different things, and so most people can identify with whether it's the issue or the guidance. And so up to 3 people for a maximum of up to 20 minutes of free guidance.
That's amazing.
On the shows coming up in 2015.
Yes, so this is the new wonderful addition to Radiating Love show. So how amazing is that? It's a lot of people who are seeking guidance or a therapy or life coach, so on and so forth, which is what our lovely goddess angel here, Roni Lipstein, does. Then they get the chance to get up to 20 minutes for free on the live
mini
broadcast.
Guidance session.
So that is yet again our gift to you.
And if you are interested in being one of those 3, you can get a hold of us. Do we have our email address that we can put up?
Well, yeah, we also just so you know that on the page, as you'll see that in order to ensure that you are staying tuned and to know is just there's Radiating Love also has its own Facebook page, which is basically radiating.love, which you'll see on the screen right there. And you can also get in touch with email as well, which is right on the bottom of the screen right here.
There you go. So you can use this email if you would like to be on the Radiating Love show. You can use this email if you would like to suggest a special guest for this show, Soul's Talking Brain. And you can also utilize this email to get in touch with us with any other purpose, whether you would like to suggest a subject matter, if you would like to get personally involved, whether it be as a special guest, as aforementioned, or if you'd like to do advertising on the show, sponsor a show. This is the way that you get to the double goddess directly. So shall we get back to confessions of your double goddess?
The confessions, yes, confessing.
So we were mentioning before our short little break that we were going to share some of our personal experiences of unconsciousness and how we have made use of some of the wisdom that we have shared here on our Being Love TV shows in our own lives. So, not that I want to put you on the spot, but why don't you go ahead and start there, sweetie pie?
What would you like me to start with?
Well, any example that you have of yourself.
In what I've done or said or been, is that what you mean? Or
Yeah, any past example of you
Oh,
not
my.
being conscious and how you have helped yourself to be conscious.
Well, first and foremost, when I have not been the way I would prefer myself to be with respect to responding or reacting to a situation, a person, or even a thing.
Yeah.
Because really, I can totally lose it on a thing too. Is right away I'm not pleased. I'm not happy that I responded or reacted in a more negative situation, or just within myself. That's, even though I'm in the moment and I'm being, like the little monsters of myself come out, and in ways that's, can be just sometimes not nice or sometimes really terrible. It does not make me happy. Period. It does not sit well with me. It's not right with me, and sometimes I allow those to come out, even though I myself do not approve of me being those things and parts of me. So right away, I am, because I'm so unhappy and unaccepted that that came out of me, is right away. It is in my conscious mind to ensure that I do not do that next time, because I can't take it back. Right? All I can do is be conscious of it and not to repeat that. And then in another situation or another whatever moment, time, that I remember consciously, and I make a note in my mind, and I do it every day, because it's that much, how much it means to me that that's not right. So because it's in my mind, it's in my awareness, it's in my conscious mind, I make it a point to remember and be more conscious, more appropriate, more loving, or more, what's just,
No, that's good.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. In any other situation. So the other things I do is I am also aware of situations and circumstances around me, as opposed to just me and what I'm feeling inside of me. It's also how others are being affected. So that's another big thing that really, really, really helps, is that I allow myself to be conscious of others, as opposed to being self-consumed by only my own self. And that assists me immensely, because my biggest thing is of course, as much as me bringing love to myself and loving self first and foremost, is also to ensure that I am also providing a
Positive experience.
Positive experience and positive impact and effect on another as well. And that's a big one as well.
We tend to have an easier time providing for others than we do for ourselves, which is a big thing that most of us have to transcend. Is the realization that all of that loving energy, compassion, consideration, motivation, inspiration that we give to others so easily should really be given to self first and foremost. But sometimes it's because it's easier to look unto other, it's easier for us to utilize that as a means of then turning that back around and looking at self through more loving eyes. So, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's, I don't know. Some people, it's interesting. We are assuming that it's easier when it comes to somebody else, when you love the other person.
Well, no, it's often the case. It's easier for somebody to go that extra mile for someone else. It's easier for someone to look at someone else's life when they're feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm destitute. There's no chance for me.
Right.
It's easier for us to be their cheerleader than to be our own cheerleader when we're in the pits of yuckiness. It's a much bigger opportunity for ourselves personally to be able to turn and look at ourselves in a depressed level of happiness and say, sweetie, it's going to be okay. Right? We don't do that as much for ourselves as we do.
We're not necessarily conditioned or taught to be able to
Exactly.
have those kinds of conscious conversations with ourselves. Really, like, I mean, it's not something that's
It's not proficient. It's not.
what's the word? It's not common.
Yeah.
It's not something you hear every day
Yeah,
or see every day.
It's not as common, correct?
Well, we're trying to make it more common.
Exactly.
Right? Which is that's what we're trying to do.
So, did you want to say any more before I give my confession?
Oh
my gosh, I gave her a little out there, huh?
Well, I think I was pretty good.
Okay.
I mean, you can put more focus on me if you want. You know?
No, I'm happy.
I'm
to
happy to own my own, my own, shit.
Shh. All right, so
let's do it.
My focus, or what I will be confessing today, is a little bit more internal than Aline's external, which, of course, being who we are, makes perfect sense. Double goddess we are because, and came to that realization because we radiate on the same harmonious resonance, but Aline usually is standing here and I'm usually standing here, like opposite. So wherever I am, she's on the complementary side and vice versa. So where Aline has given an example of external experiences, mine is internal. So oftentimes I can be accosted by negative thinking. My mind can bring forth a lot of fear-based thoughts, and that continuously come up consistently in my mind. And it's really not that funny, actually. Okay? I didn't laugh at your confession. So, for me, in my experience, both personally in my own life and professionally with my angel partners, my clients who I see for guidance, I have found that being conscious and owning our ability to respond, our responsibility for being conscious, is a moment-to-moment experience. And what happens is that for a lot of us, we get trapped in this pitfall where we are really, really dedicated to being love, and it's like it's our whole beingness, and then we are accosted by these depressed levels of happiness, or by anger, resentment, irritation, frustration, so on and so forth, which there are times where they can be used positively, but most of the time negatively. And
sorry.
Well, like sometimes,
most.
Yeah, most of the time. Most of the time. Majority of the time, yes.
Yes.
So, and most of the time negatively impacting self more so than anything or anyone else, because it's our experience of it. And then, of course, exponentially radiating out to others who are affected by it. And what I have found is that there is this pitfall, as I was saying, where you're really dedicated to being love, and then these thoughts come up, and you're like, what's going on? I'm a conscious being. I believe in all of these things, and why am I having these thoughts? And then what winds up happening is that we create this dog chasing its own tail snowball effect, where instead of coming up for breath and going, it's okay that you're having this thought, we get upset with ourselves for having the thought. So we're already upset. We recognize that we're upset. And then instead of utilizing the recognition of the upsetness and the upsetness itself to assist us, we use it to further plunge ourselves into the water. And we're like drowning ourselves now. Bad, bad, bad. You're having bad thoughts. You're not being loved. Bad, bad, bad. And so we wind up just making it bigger and bigger and bigger because of this guilt that we are feeling, that we're not living up to our own standards. So what I have found is that when I recognize and accept that as much as my life is dedicated to being love, I have still had my own soul shocks in my lifetime. From the time that I was born until present day today, I've had soul shocks, continue to traumas, tragedies, negative experiences that have affected me in negative ways, that I am, in a moment-to-moment basis, potentially going to have some flash or stimulation of the neural receptors coming and sending me little messages saying, oh, da-da-da-da-da. And if I can acknowledge that it's a moment-to-moment thing, then I can acknowledge that in each moment I have the opportunity not to fall victim to the thought. So even if I've been really, really good all day, and then all of a sudden I have this horrible flash of negativity that comes on me, instead of getting guilty and berating myself for it, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. What are you saying to me? And this is me talking to me.
Ah, so you have your own conversation.
In my own mind,
She
right?
talks to herself.
I do.
Basically.
And it's not always just in my own mind. I do it out loud
She's
too.
Talking to,
To myself. And I have conversations out loud, actually. I'm like, okay, sweetie, you're really bugging me. This is really a yucky thought, and it's really getting me down. What's going on? Mm-hmm. And where are you coming from?
You have found that this is the one main thing that that assists you in switching and changing that which is negative.
Not the one main thing. There are many things that I make use of. This is one thing that is one of the big ones, yes.
Right.
So I engage in these conversations. I accept that these thoughts are happening. I don't try and deny them.
Right.
Make pretend that it's not there. Try and no, I'm going to be positive now and think positive thoughts now, and it's going to make it all go away, because it doesn't. Mm-hmm. I acknowledge, okay, I'm having yucky thoughts. Where are you coming from? Right. What are you trying to say to me? What do you need from me to calm down so you stop bugging me, please? So I engage in the conversations. I'm then able to recognize where it's coming from. I'm able to provide this part of me that is not feeling loved or not feeling loving, what it requires to be a little bit more open and trusting and relaxed in what I authentically know to be true.
Well, I think everybody's got their way, right? Everybody has, hoping that everybody's doing something like productive or doing something to assist themselves, because listen, you live here, you live in this world, you're human, so it's inevitable. But do you find that it is because you were saying that you also put judgment onto yourself. In the beginning of the show, we were talking about when people look at us and they see our show and they see what we do, and then they catch us at times when we're not at our best, and then they're like, "Oh, look at you, all talking."
Right.
So do you do that to yourself too?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I don't do that to myself.
Okay, well, I've had to teach myself. Okay, big shot. You do a lot of other things, all right?
But
I don't. Being
I don't.
Very ego.
I don't put myself on a pedestal to begin with. So then
I'm not putting myself on a pedestal.
No, but you're very hard on yourself.
Yes, I have high expectations.
You should be this way.
Yes.
Whereas
that is the way that I would like to be.
But I do that in a different way.
Right. Exactly.
Right. On that note, we're going to take just a few seconds of moment, and we will be right back.
And we're back.
And we're back.
So the screen that was just up, can we put up where they can go to donate?
Yes.
If we have a ticker. So the screen that was just up was, we had shown you earlier our email address where you can get a hold of us if you would like to do a commercial on our show, if you would like to sponsor the show, and as we had mentioned earlier, to use the email address with respect to suggesting subjects, special guests, so on and so forth. And this is where you can go if you would like to donate to the show, which Aline and I do on our own because of our dedication, our personal, professional, whole beingness dedication
yes, it's all
to
free.
being loved.
We do it all just
out of love.
Out of our own wanting and our own
compulsion.
Yes.
Yes, we are
so and
compelled to do that which we can for the benefit of all. And as such, we humbly welcome and openly receive in humble honor.
It assists us to be able to continue
your donations for our show. So thank you so very much in advance for showing your support, both in donating as well as sharing the show. There are social, what do we call them again?
Networking?
Social networking icons.
Social things, you know.
That you can share the show through. So if you just click on any of those and please share our shows through any and all of your social networks, that would be wonderful.
And of course, if you can also go to, as we are just now, we are uploading a lot more of our previous shows that we've done in the last 4 years.
Yes.
And if you go to our YouTube channel, is where it's mainly being put there, and we do have our beinglove.tv website as well, which we will be putting everything, which already is, but as it keeps going, you'll also notice that we are if you come across shows that are not showing on the beinglove.tv,
go here for now, basically, is what she's trying to say.
There you go.
Alrighty then. Back to confessions. Shh, we have a little secret.
I got a little secret.
There's actually a song I used to sing with my sister. Do you want to know a secret? Ooh, oh, do you promise not to tell?
Isn't that a song? That's an actual, isn't that like a 50s, 50s
yes,
or 70s?
It's an actual song. Yeah. Alana and I used to get up on my parents' on the fireplace mantelpiece, and we used to make pretend that we were singers.
Of course.
And we used to do that was one of our songs, and we used to fight over who got to do the words, because one of us would do the words and the other one would do ooh ah.
Yeah, see, I never got to have to fight with anybody to be the star. I see. I was the.
You just are such a shining star.
You got it.
So, anyways, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alana and I were both the stars. It wasn't a fight over who was the star. It was just who got to sing the words and who did the ooh ah.
It's just a sibling thing, you know.
Yes.
But I think everybody took their hairbrush and you know.
Do you want to know a secret? Yes. So, back to our secrets and confessions. So before we went on the break, we were talking about judgment, self-judgment, and utilizing our...
And how to assist ourselves. What it is that if we are doing so, yes.
Yes. And utilizing our experiences of unconscious actions to actually assist us to be even more conscious. And you had made mention that when you find that you've been unconscious, you try to make a mental note of it so that you will assist yourself when a similar situation comes up to be more conscious.
Yeah.
And
it becomes very embedded within me. I'm like, you know, embedded. It's like stamp. I stamp you now.
Yes. So we were talking about that. Are there any other tools or resources or another example that you would like to share with respect to how you assist yourself to be the you that you love yourself to be in that state of comforted bliss, and also that state of elated connection where you're really feeling the authenticity of the unity of you as the individual with all that is, ever was, or will be.
Well, absolutely. It's a it's kind of integral. It kind of is one and the same. When I'm thinking about that within myself, I'm not just thinking about that for myself and how I want to be. It's how I'm thinking about the people that I love, that I care about, or even just strangers, the people I want to meet. So I'm thinking about them. But it is.
I'm talking more about like that feeling, for example, that we had over the summer, where you feel your sacred purpose
Mm-hmm.
as one of the all, and you feel the connection.
Oh yeah.
So,
oh yeah.
Notice the little
I
shift
just
there
had- I just
in
had a-
consciousness.
I just had like deja vu right now, and I feel like it's through deja vu of the show as well, and that I've said this before. Whatever it is, say it again.
That feeling, like
Yeah,
I'm asking if you can share how you assist
That you
yourself
are like
to feel that
to
connection.
the integral,
Yeah,
to the all.
yes, as
Oh,
opposed to
yeah.
just here.
Just yeah.
Not that this is any less than this,
Uh-huh.
because this is vital to this.
To this, yes.
But what are some tools or resources or ways that you remind yourself of the microscopic and yet macroscopic part that you play in the whole?
Well, as this is all confessions.
Yes.
Since I was very, very young, maybe as young as the youngest as I can remember, maybe 6 years old or something like that, I had come into the realization or the inspiration, if you will, that I am God. So, in that saying is that I am God is that, in the definition of on the religious end of God is that, it's the Almighty, it's whatever, whatever, whatever. But for me, it was that I am no better, no less, no more important, or no more grander. And
even though she is a superstar.
superstar.
Yeah.
At that young age, I took on sort of saying that or thinking that in your mind. It comes with a lot of responsibility in that mindset, right? Is that okay? Well, then if I am love and or God, whatever you want to call it, then I am everything, and I am responsible. My presence and my existence is responsible to some degree for all of existence as well.
Right.
So
that's pretty big for a 6-year-old to hold
yeah,
on your shoulders.
It was actually, yes, actually it is, and I'll give you just a little, just not to take away from here, but, when I was in kindergarten and in middle school, or even high school, when I saw somebody who was being bullied, for example, it was like, I was like a cop. I was like the sergeant, and I would run just to go and save these children who were being bullied. It was like yes, I took that responsibility on. So because of that, for me, it's kind of like one and the same. Who I am and what I believe and what I'm trying to do, my whole life dedication is why are we here and what is the purpose of life and all this. I know that, and I know and I feel that I've always wanted to change the world to the better. So right away,
which for some people might sound very pompous, but when you're explaining it,
it's very sweet actually.
When you're explaining it, from
I can understand somebody could take it that way. Yeah,
but when you're explaining it from the perspective that you are, and with
the
comprehension that you are, you have a much more expanded understanding, where somebody saying, I want to change the world, is not pompous. It's not arrogance. It's actually authentically love. It's not just authentic love, but it's humble, and it's
Well, it's about the all. So you asked about.
Yes, so it's not selfish, it's not
No,
self-centered.
exactly.
And it's not looking at oneself as being something that is grander than others.
Exactly.
Right.
And
so
on a scientific note, or just factual, is that everything is energy. Everything is energy. And so then what, and some people may say, oh, there's karma, whatever, whatever, whatever. But at the end of the day, you're energy. And so what you're doing, whether you're not doing something nice to some person right in front of you, or even in a moment that you've lost it within yourself with the door or the keys.
That would be her.
That would be me. That energy is right away spewed. It's
into
what you're
the all,
into,
yes.
into
which is
the
what I was
all.
saying earlier, that you don't have to be in the same room with her when she's spewing it.
So
you can be on the other side of the world. It's out there now.
It's ripples of
Yeah.
ripples, energies of vibrational
Radiating
frequency
love.
that you're breathing and you are feeling. You're in it.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if bad moods actually come because somebody had a fit with somebody, and then it's just you're feeling the ripples of that energy.
Absolutely.
Possibly, and that's a very high possibility.
Yeah.
And if you go and you read about, quantum mechanics and science and so on and so forth, and then everything else that is already, that is pretty factual, if not
it's been
common
researched.
Sense as well. It's
It's
also
been
researched, and it is
studied.
also proven scientifically.
Mm-hmm.
Then, yeah, damn right, I'm going to be more conscious, even more so. So it's not just about me and myself and my friends and my family and the people that I'm meeting. It's really about what I don't know out there and everybody else in it.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
So there you go.
And there you go.
So, did we want to... Was there another thing we wanted to share before we went?
I think we went, where are we going to go away? Where are we going? Are we going on a holiday?
So I did want to just bring up a couple of things that I myself do and make use of on a regular basis before we close our finale show for the 2014 year, which has been quite an amazing,
quite a year,
quite a revealing year for both of us, and I think for many of us in the world.
Yeah.
So some of the things that I will share with you today that I use, that I think, you may like some, none, or most of. Definitely things to try out in your own ways. Mm-hmm. I like to listen to videos, music that is aligned to the solfeggio frequencies. So the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do is actually aligned to your chakras, and it allows for the chakras to be embraced in love, and therefore to recalibrate with each other as well as within each one unto itself, so that it is flowing with greater ease and releasing any of the blocks that are happening, because that is your main line of communication, both receiving and giving of love. So when there is a block, then the fear can get in there, and we need to then do what we have to try and get out of that fear. So solfeggio frequencies, you can find a whack of videos on YouTube, meditations with respect to opening up the chakras. I also like to listen to different beta waves, video beta waves, delta waves, theta waves, which assist with brain entrainment. Our brains get hardwired, neural pathways within the brains become fixed, and so when something happens in your present day that has some kind of a similar frequency to something that's happened in the past, instead of responding to the now, the brain automatically will bring up the reaction that you had in the past, and that comes into your mind full frontal, and all of a sudden you're reacting instead of consciously responding. So brain entrainment to allow yourself to make new connections and new neural pathways in the brain based on love instead of fear. I utilize that as well. Physical activity, and yoga is definitely very prevalent in today's day and age, but really any physical activity that you participate within, if you participate within it mindfully, becomes an active meditation. My life is an active meditation. If I'm washing dishes, if I'm walking our dog Shaman, if I'm cleaning the home, if I'm doing my work, it is an active meditation where I am consciously choosing to align myself with love. As I had mentioned earlier, having dialogue within myself, creating a detachment between the person who is observing my mind's thoughts and feelings and my mind and the thoughts and feelings that are coming up. And having that detachment allows for me to be the observer as well as the participatory person involved in the situation. And as such, I'm able to create that space required between the stimulus and my response. And it's a response if I am taking advantage of the space as opposed to reaction, because I am taking the time to consciously choose how I'm going to respond to something instead of becoming enveloped by the emotions or thoughts that I'm thinking or
instead
feeling
of having
in
them
that
become
moment.
you as
Right. So
yes, because really nothing is yours.
So there's that. There's also surrounding myself with positivity, whether it be through my social networks, my family, my friends, people and things that make me feel good, that make me go, "Aw," and feel warm and sweet inside. Also assist in perpetuating that state of being love. So those are a few things. I could go on.
Yes, you could.
Yes, and I have through our shows, as well as our 2 blogs that we have that are also freely available to anyone who is seeking more assistance and seeking to do so on your own.
You can actually go there right now and let's just put it up on the screen for you. It's it's Soul's Talking Brain blog. Yes, there is a blog too. So it's www.1 souls-talking-brain.
Do we have the other blog as well?
We do. There's 2 blogs, 2 shows. La 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 la. Two. Double.
What do you got? You know.
Fulfilled Destiny is what it's called, the blog, and it is at fulfilleddestiny-s3.com/blog.
So, those are some of the things that we do in our personal lives. We will be sharing many, many, many more with all of you wonderful, beautiful Earth Angels Divine in the new year, new Gregorian year, 2015, as well as welcoming many, many more special guests, wonderful guests to the show.
Coming, lots of good
great
stuff,
lineups for
people.
the new year.
Great, yeah.
Radiating Love Show,
Coming
our
up.
blogs. We look forward to sharing all of this wonderfulness with all of you, and we thank you so much once again for making Being Love TV what it is, and for allowing us to have this most phenomenal experience in our lives doing the show. Because
you've expressed your gratitude quite enormously.
Okay.
Happy holidays, Happy New Year, and we will see you in the new year. Have a good night.
Blessedly be, everyone.
Ooh.
Soul got questions.